Close your eyes now, and let your breath become slow and steady. Rhythmic, like the tide rolling in against the shore. Let us drift away from the noise of the present day, releasing the tension in your shoulders, the weight in your mind, and travel together to a place where the land meets the sea in a vast, sweeping embrace. Imagine yourself standing on the edge of the world, on the curved arm of Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Here, the landscape is dominated by the dunes, great rolling hills of sand that shift and change with the wind, ancient and silent observers of the passing time. The grass here is tall and golden, bowing gently in the salty breeze coming off the Atlantic, whispering secrets to the sky. It is a place of stark, breathtaking beauty, where the sun bleaches the driftwood white, and the air always carries the crisp, clean scent of the ocean. We are going to tell a story tonight, but not a story of fear or urgency. Instead, we will explore a mystery that floats like a mist over these dunes. A story about a moment frozen in time. A coincidence. A theory that connects a classic piece of cinema with a soul who was lost for decades. It is a story about how we remember, and how the camera lens captures more than just the actors in the frame, sometimes catching the ghosts of our history, walking through the background, unaware that they are being immortalized. Let your mind drift back through the decades, settling softly into the summer of 1974. The world was different then, slower, painted in the warm, grainy textures of Kodachrome film. In the seaside towns of New England, the summer sun felt heavy and sweet. Families packed into station wagons, the radio playing soft rock, the windows rolled down to catch the cooling air. On the island of Martha's Vineyard, just across the water from the Cape, something significant was happening that summer. A young director, Steven Spielberg, was battling the elements, the mechanical failures, and the unpredictable ocean, to film a movie that would change cinema forever. That movie was Jaws. Imagine the scene. The bustling, chaotic energy of a film set, juxtaposed against the lazy, sleepy rhythm of a beach town. Cables running through the sand, heavy cameras mounted on tripods, the shouts of action and cut carried away by the wind. And surrounding the famous actors, surrounding the mechanical shark, were the people. The extras. The locals and the tourists who gathered to watch, or to walk through a scene, simply to be part of the magic. It is a profound thing to consider, the life of an extra in a film. They are the background texture of reality. We rarely look at their faces, yet they are there, living their own complex lives, carrying their own stories, their own joys and sorrows, captured for a split second on celluloid, and then preserved forever. While the cameras rolled on the vineyard, capturing the fictional terror of a great white shark, a real mystery was unfolding quietly, tragically, just a few miles away across the Sound, among the solitude of the Provincetown dunes. This is where the story of the Lady of the Dunes begins. For nearly 50 years, she was a woman without a name, a silent figure found in the sands, a puzzle that baffled detectives and haunted the locals. She became a legend of the Cape, a sad spirit associated with the shifting sands and the lonely scrub pines. For decades, these two timelines ran parallel, never touching. On one side, the blockbuster movie Jaws, watched by millions, a cultural phenomenon that defined the fear of the water. On the other side, the quiet, somber case of the Lady of the Dunes. A cold case file tucked away in a dusty drawer, a question mark that refused to fade. But time has a way of bending, of revealing connections we never thought to look for. And this is where our journey tonight takes a turn into the contemplative, into the strange and delicate threads that bind us together. Years later, a writer, a storyteller named Joe Hill, found himself watching Jaws on a large screen. It was a restoration, the colors vivid, the details sharp. He was watching with the eye of a creator, admiring the composition, the atmosphere of that 1974 summer. As the movie played, there is a scene involving the crowds arriving at the ferry, the 4th of July panic and excitement. The camera pans across the faces of the people, the extras, the background of the story. And there, in the midst of the crowd, a woman walks by. She is wearing a blue bandana, folded and tied around her hair. She is wearing jeans and a denim jacket. Her posture is relaxed. Just another face in the summer crowd, soaking in the sun, perhaps curious about the film crew, perhaps just waiting for the ferry to take her on her next adventure. When Joe Hill saw this fleeting figure, a spark of recognition ignited in his mind. Not recognition of a person he knew, but recognition of a description he had read. A description of the Lady of the Dunes. The details aligned in a way that felt almost magnetic. The blue bandana, the jeans, the approximate age, the location, the timing. Could it be that in the weeks or days before she was lost to the dunes, this woman had walked through the set of one of the most famous movies in history? Could it be that for decades, while police searched for her identity, millions of people had been looking right at her face, flickering on movie screens and televisions around the world? It is a theory that invites us to pause and to wonder. It transforms the movie from a creature feature into a time capsule, a documentary of a specific moment where paths crossed. It suggests that the past is never truly gone, that it is recorded, archived, waiting for the right eyes to see it. Breathe in deeply now, filling your lungs with that imaginary salt air, and exhale slowly, letting the idea settle over you like a warm blanket. We are not here to solve a crime tonight, nor to dwell on the darkness of how her story ended. We are here to meditate on the possibility of her presence. We are here to honor the idea that no one is truly invisible. Imagine the blue bandana, a bright spot of color against the gray and white of the crowd. Think of the texture of the denim, the feeling of the sun on her skin that day in 1974, the noise of the harbor, the seagulls crying overhead, the smell of diesel from the ferry engines and frying clams from the snack bars. If the theory is true, it paints a picture of a woman who was alive, vibrant, and part of the collective history of that summer. She was not just a mystery found in the sand. She was a person who walked and watched, and perhaps smiled at the commotion of Hollywood descending on her quiet corner of the world. Let us linger in this atmosphere for a while. The atmosphere of the Cape in midsummer. The way the light changes as the afternoon wears on, turning the ocean from a brilliant, sparkling sapphire to a deep, mysterious indigo. The way the shadows of the dunes lengthen, stretching out like fingers across the sand. The dunes themselves are a landscape of peace and solitude. To walk there is to be isolated from the modern world. The sand muffles your footsteps. The hills block the view of the towns and the roads. You are alone with the elements, with the sky, with the vast, rhythmic breathing of the sea. It is a place where it is easy to become lost, not just in direction, but in thought. In this quiet space, the boundary between what is real and what is filmed becomes porous. The story of the Lady of the Dunes and the story of the film Jaws merge into a single narrative of 1974, a narrative about people moving through a landscape, some to be remembered as stars, some to be remembered as characters, and some, like the woman in the blue bandana, to be remembered as a mystery, a phantom caught in the grain of the film. As you lie there, comfortable and safe, allow the imagery of the ocean to soothe you. The waves rolling in, cresting and breaking, over and over again. Each wave is a year passing, washing away the footprints on the beach, smoothing the stones, but the ocean remains. The film remains. The image remains. We are drifting towards a deeper understanding of this story, not as a tragedy, but as a testament to the enduring nature of memory. We are preparing to look closer, to slow down the film, to freeze the frame, and to acknowledge the life that was lived before the mystery began. Let the sounds of that distant summer fade into a gentle hum, a white noise that wraps around you. The crowds are gone now. The cameras are packed away. The ferry has left the dock. All that is left is the sound of the wind in the dune grass and the steady, comforting beat of your own heart as we prepare to delve deeper into this story of shadows and light. And so, as the wind settles into a soft whisper through the beach grass, we let our minds drift across the water, moving through time and space, back to the amber-hued days of 1974. The summer sun hangs high and heavy in the sky, casting a warm, golden glow over the island of Martha's Vineyard. It is a place of salt air and cedar shingles, of hydrangeas blooming in bursts of blue and violet against weathered gray wood. Here, history and fiction are about to collide in a way that no one could have predicted. The island is abuzz, not just with the usual hum of vacationers and the cry of seagulls, but with the mechanics of movie making. A story is being told here, a story of the ocean, of a great white shark, and the fear of what lies beneath the surface. But tonight, we are not concerned with the monster in the movie. We are interested in the quiet moments between the takes, the stillness behind the action, the faces in the crowd. Imagine the scene, chaotic yet controlled. Cameras mounted on tripods, heavy and mechanical, capturing the world on strips of celluloid film. The air smells of sunscreen and brine, of hot asphalt and fried clams. Hundreds of people have gathered, locals and tourists alike, drawn by the allure of Hollywood descending upon their quiet shores. They are the extras, the background artists, the living texture of the film. They are asked to walk, to sit, to scream, to run, and then to wait. There is a unique kind of patience required on a film set, a meditative state of waiting for the light to be right, waiting for the wind to die down, waiting for the director to call for action. In these long stretches of time, people are just themselves. They sit on the sand, they talk to strangers, they look out at the horizon. It is in one of these moments, captured forever in the chemistry of the film, that a mystery may have been inadvertently preserved. Decades later, long after that summer had faded into memory, long after the film had become a classic, a new set of eyes looked at the screen, not watching the story, but watching the edges of the frame. It was the son of a storyteller, a writer named Joe Hill, who found himself pausing the film, leaning in closer, struck by a sudden, quiet recognition. It is strange how a detail can remain hidden in plain sight for so years, only to emerge like a piece of sea glass washing up on the shore, smooth and frosted by time. The scene in question is known as the July 4th crowd scene. In the movie, it is a moment of panic. People are rushing out of the water, a tide of human motion scrambling for the safety of the dry sand. But if you look past the movement, if you slow the film down, frame by frame, until the chaos turns into a series of still photographs, you see her. There is a woman, standing amidst the crowd. She is not running. She is not panicking. She is simply present, a figure anchored in the shifting sands of the scene. The camera pans past her, barely lingering, treating her as just another brushstroke in the painting of a summer day. But the details of her appearance, when frozen in time, echo with a haunting familiarity. She wears a blue bandana, tied carefully over her hair. The blue is deep, like the ocean far from shore, a striking contrast against the sandy hues of the beach. She wears denim jeans and a simple shirt. It is an outfit of utility, of comfort, the kind of clothes one wears for a day of walking, or perhaps a day of hiding in plain sight. The blue bandana. This simple square of fabric becomes the thread that ties two worlds together. For in the dunes of Provincetown, miles away across the water, another blue bandana was found. Folded, waiting, a silent witness to a story that had lost its narrator. As we visualize this woman in the film, let us observe her with a sense of peace. She appears calm. She is surrounded by people, yet she seems solitary, a private universe amidst the public spectacle. The sunlight catches her features, but the grain of the film keeps her slightly out of reach, slightly soft, like a memory that you cannot quite bring into sharp focus. She looks fit, strong, her posture upright. She looks like someone who walked the dunes, who knew the feeling of sand shifting beneath her boots. Consider the geography of that summer. Martha's Vineyard and Provincetown are separated by water, but connected by the rhythm of the ferries. It is a short journey, a simple crossing. The ferry cuts through the waves, a white wake trailing behind it, bridging the gap between the quiet dunes of the Cape and the bustling energy of the film set. It is entirely possible, entirely plausible, that a woman seeking solitude, or perhaps seeking to be lost, might take that ferry, to step away from the isolation of the dunes for a day, to blend into a crowd where no one knows her name, where she can be just a face in the background, observed but not seen. There is something deeply poignant about the life of an extra in a film. They are there to provide reality, to make the world of the movie feel inhabited. They bring their own clothes, their own histories, their own secrets, and they stand where they are told. They are immortalized, yet anonymous. Millions of people have seen this woman. Millions of eyes have swept over her face as they watched the film, never knowing that they might be looking at a ghost, a phantom caught in the amber of 1974. As you breathe in deeply now, imagine the sound of that ferry engine, a low, rhythmic thrumming that vibrates through the water. Visualize the woman standing on the deck, the wind catching the corners of her blue bandana. She watches the coastline recede, the dunes becoming a thin line of gold on the horizon. She is alive in this moment. She is breathing the salt air. She is thinking her thoughts, dreaming her dreams, carrying the weight of her own life, which is just as complex, just as deep as the ocean she crosses. The theory suggests that she wandered onto the set, perhaps curious, perhaps looking for a day's wage, or simply caught up in the excitement of the moment. She stood there, under the summer sun, and the camera captured her. It stole a fraction of a second of her life and locked it away in a vault of light and shadow. Is it truly her? The timing aligns. The description aligns. The blue bandana, a beacon of color, aligns. We cannot know for certain. The film does not give up its secrets easily. It offers us only an image, a possibility, a ripple in the water. But in considering this possibility, we shift the narrative. She is no longer just a mystery found in the dunes. She becomes a person who lived, who traveled, who stood in the sun, who was part of a cultural moment that defined a generation. She becomes woven into the fabric of a story that everyone knows, hiding in the margins, waiting to be noticed. Let the image of the film set fade slightly now, retreating like the tide going out. Let the sounds of the crowd diminish, replaced once again by the steady, rhythmic lapping of the waves against the shore. The screen goes dark, but the afterimage remains. A splash of blue, a figure standing tall. We are drifting deeper into relaxation now, letting the questions float away like leaves on a stream. It does not matter in this moment if the theory is fact or fiction. What matters is the connection, the act of remembering, the act of seeing. By looking for her in the film, we are acknowledging her existence. We are saying that she was here. She walked this earth. She felt the sun. She wore the blue bandana. The ocean connects all these points: the vineyard, the cape, the dunes, the film. The water that lapped at the shore during the filming is the same water that washes over the stones of Provincetown. It is a continuous cycle, endless and soothing. The waves rise and fall, breathing with the planet, holding all the stories, all the memories, in its vast blue depths. Feel yourself sinking deeper into your bed, supported, held, just as the ocean holds the history of that summer. The grain of the film smooths out into the velvet darkness of sleep. The mystery loses its sharp edges, becoming a soft, wondering thought, a story told in whispers. A face in the crowd, turning towards the light, forever paused in a moment of summer afternoon stillness. We prepare now to move beyond the image, to look at what happened when the cameras stopped rolling, when the ferry returned to the dock, and the long shadows of evening began to stretch across the dunes. But for now, simply rest in the golden haze of that possibility, the idea that a lost soul might be found, preserved in light, watching over us from the flickering screen of the past. The sun begins to dip lower now, casting long, amber rays across the shifting topography of the Cape, signaling the end of the day, and the end of the era we have been visiting. As the imaginary cameras stop rolling in our minds, and the bustle of that fictionalized summer fades into the quiet of history, we are left with the landscape itself. The crowds disperse. The noise of the production trucks rumbles away down the highway, leaving behind only the sound of the wind, whistling softly through the dune grass, and the eternal, rhythmic crashing of the waves against the shore. Imagine standing there, on the edge of the beach, as twilight begins to embrace the world. The sky turns a deep, bruised purple, fading into the indigo of the coming night. The air grows cooler, carrying the sharp, clean scent of salt and ancient water. The excitement of the day, the mystery of the film, the questions of identity, all of them begin to settle, like sediment sinking to the bottom of a clear glass. There is a profound stillness here, a sense that the land is reclaiming its solitude, wrapping itself in the comforting blanket of the dark. It is in this quiet space that we find the true resolution of our story, not in the frantic search for clues, but in the peaceful acceptance of what is found and what is lost. For decades, the question hovered over these sands like a mist that would not lift. Who was she? Was she the figure in the blue bandana, forever captured in the background of a summer blockbuster? Or was she simply a traveler, passing through the beauty of this place, only to become part of its soil? Time moved forward, as it always does. The seasons turned, one into another, in a slow, hypnotic waltz. Winter snows dusted the dunes in white silence. Spring rains washed the beach grass green. Summer suns baked the sand to gold, and autumn winds stripped the trees bare. Through all those years, the film remained, a capsule of time, a flickering memory of a specific moment when the world seemed a little younger. And within that film, the possibility remained too. The idea that she was there, hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone to notice, waiting for someone to say her name. And eventually, the universe answered. The silence was broken, not with a shout, but with a whisper of truth. Science and memory wove their threads together, reaching across the chasm of decades to pull a name from the shadows. Ruth. Her name was Ruth. Say it softly in your mind, letting the sound of it bring a sense of grounding. Ruth Marie Terry. No longer a mystery, no longer a lady of the dunes, but a person, a daughter, a sister, a woman who breathed this air and saw this sky. The theory of her presence in the movie, whether true or merely a hopeful trick of light and shadow, served its purpose. It kept her memory alive. It kept people looking. It kept the world wondering and caring about a soul that had gone missing. Now, there is peace in that knowing. The restless energy of the unsolved dissipates, replaced by the calm solidity of truth. It is like a heavy book finally being closed, its story read, its pages honored, and placed gently upon a shelf to rest. The mystery smooths out, leaving only the reverence we feel for a life lived. She is no longer lost in the dunes, but found, and returned to the dignity of her own history. Let this sense of closure wash over you now, just as the tide washes over the footprints on the beach, erasing the jagged edges, smoothing the surface until it is pristine and whole again. You, too, are whole. You are safe, sheltered in the sanctuary of this moment. The stories of the past cannot trouble you here. They are merely echoes, fading into the vastness of the night. Visualize the Cape now, under the cover of starlight. The ocean is a dark, living mirror, reflecting the moon above. The lighthouse at the tip of the land begins its nightly vigil, a beam of soft, white light sweeping across the water, regular, steady, reassuring. Flash and pause. Flash and pause. It is a heartbeat of light in the darkness, watching over the sleeping world. Imagine yourself drifting upwards, weightless, looking down at the curve of the coastline. You see the long arm of the land cradling the bay, protecting it from the wild Atlantic. You see the dunes, rolling like frozen waves of sand, silver in the moonlight. Below the surface of the water, the currents move slow and deep, ancient rivers within the sea, connecting everything. The water that touches the cape touches the vineyard, touches the deep ocean, touches the shores of distant lands. It is all one. It is all held. Your breathing aligns with this slow, planetary rhythm. Inhale, drawing in the peace of the starlight. Exhale, releasing any remaining tension into the void. There is nothing left to solve. There is nothing left to analyze. The credits have rolled. The screen has gone dark. The theater is empty and quiet. There is only you and the velvet comfort of sleep waiting to receive you. Feel the heaviness in your limbs, a pleasant, warm weight that anchors you to your bed. Your legs are heavy, sinking down. Your arms are heavy, resting by your sides. Your hands are open and soft. The muscles in your face relax, the small tension around your eyes smoothing away. Your jaw unclenched, your forehead cool and clear. The story of the Lady of the Dunes has found its resting place, and so must you. Think of the grain of the film one last time. Those tiny particles of silver halide capturing a split second of light from 1974. Now, imagine those particles dispersing, like dust motes dancing in a sunbeam, drifting apart, floating away, dissolving into the ether. The image fades. The blue bandana fades. The summer sun fades. All that remains is the feeling of having been on a journey and the relief of returning home. You are home now, in the center of your own quiet night. The world outside continues its gentle spin, but here, in this room, time has stopped. There is only the rise and fall of your chest, the soft fabric against your skin, the inviting darkness behind your closed eyelids. Let your mind drift to the sound of the ocean, a white noise that blankets your thoughts. Shh, shh, shh. The waves are lullabies, sung by the earth itself. They tell you that it is okay to let go. It is okay to stop thinking. It is okay to sleep. The dunes are sleeping. The beach grass stands still in the moonlight. The birds are tucked away in their nests. The ferry is docked, its engines cold and silent. The town is dark, windows dark, streets empty and peaceful. The entire world has paused to let you rest. Go deeper now, sinking past the story, past the history, past the conscious mind, drifting down into the warm, blue depths of your own subconscious. It is safe here. It is quiet here. Ruth is at peace. The ocean is at peace. You are at peace. Allow the final threads of wakefulness to slip through your fingers. You don't need to hold on to them anymore. Let them fall away. Let them drift. Silence wraps around you like a soft quilt. The night is long, and you have hours of restorative, healing darkness ahead of you. Rest now. Sleep. Good night.